Shalom Chaverim. It's a beautiful Wednesday here in the nation's capital. Temperature is cooling off a little. It got up, I think, into the 70s. And I'm, again, just waiting for people to tune in since this is a live broadcast. For those of you who are listening, this is a podcast. It was done Wednesday, May 7th. And I want to thank those of you who have already logged on and have started watching. You can see that I'm here by myself in spite of all the people that last week and the week before and the week before said that they would like to be invited as a guest. You could see that no one has taken me up on my offer and co-host with me. And not so much disappointed, not so much sad. Just would be nice to have some of you with me so we can have conversation, ask each other questions, explore things together, whatever topic you would like to have. We don't have to do mine. And someone just said to invite them as a guest, which is what I'm talking about. Email rabbiblock@hotmail.com, and we'll pick our topic. We'll talk with each other, and then we can co-host next week. I'm continuing with my series, Make America Good Again. Good meaning behavior, good meaning values. And we're up to our fourth step in the process. And I put two together that, well, actually I didn't. Remember, this list came from Rabbi Reiner, and it's being supported and promoted by Reform rabbis. But that's the Jewish list. I decided to look at the three Abrahamic religions and Buddhism and Hinduism. So we have 5 religions all together, looking at each of the steps. They put together respectful listening and seeking peace. Maybe I should have broken out seeking peace and made it separate. However, when Rabbi Reiner and his committee put this together, they evidently thought that they should go. And I think they really are interconnected values: respectful listening and peace-seeking. They're essential in having meaningful relationships, whether it's partners, whether it's countries, doesn't matter what it is, unless we listen to each other. Now, you've heard this before. There's a difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is something rather mechanical. It has to do with our ears and the mechanics of sound getting in. Listening means paying attention, absorbing. So let's start by taking a look at our values. In Judaism, we don't have any dogmas per se, since there's no central authority. However, we do have really a dogma, and some people say it's the watchword of Judaism. Well, that's a dogma. It's the Shema. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema, listen, listen. And this then becomes paramount, is how do I know if I don't listen to you? And often you phrase questions or put things that I really would like to listen. That's why I'd like you to co-host with me. To many of you are asking questions about the Middle East and about Israel and how the war is expanding. And it's been there, it's continuing on. And that would be worthy of us listening to each other, as opposed to writing a question on the screen. So in Judaism, we have in the Ethics of the Fathers, Pirkei Avot, make for yourself a master, get yourself a teacher, acquire a friend, and judge every person favorably until, if and when, they give you the signs that you shouldn't be judging them favorably. But Judaism, Pirkei Avot, some Mishnah, warns us, asks us to not prejudge. Just listen. The world stands on three things. This is also from Pirkei Avot. On justice, truth, and peace. Without having harmony. Now remember, war is not the opposite of peace. Cacophony, chaos is the opposite. So the goal is to establish listening, paying attention, so that it doesn't lead to discord. It doesn't lead to cacophony. It doesn't lead to a clash. It says in the book of Psalms, seek peace and pursue it. And Proverbs has really a neat proverb that applies to us right now. If one gives an answer before one listens, it is his folly and shame. And I find a lot of us just wait for another person to finish so we can tell them our opinion, give them our opinion. And the proverb says it's a shame because we're going to be missing out. We're going to be missing because we didn't listen. We prejudge. Now, for Christianity, all those quotes apply because Christianity is built upon Old Testament. And Jesus' teacher was Ramban Gamliel. And so when we look at the sayings in the Mishnah and the Talmud, Jesus would have been aware of them. And we find them in his teachings. He was an eloquent preacher. But let's take a look at some of the passages that are uniquely Christian. From the Epistle of James. My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. Say that again. Quick to listen and not speak. When I worked at the hospital with my substance abuse groups, one of our popular sayings was, take the cotton out of your ears and put it in your mouth. Because one of the things we found in doing groups and individually were people were very fast to give their opinions, to tell you what's wrong with you, what's wrong with the system, how they got there. It's somebody else's fault. And they would go on and on and on, which makes it very difficult to analyze problems and to chart a way out of the mess. If you're so busy thinking about your answer and talking, then, as Matthew said, whoever has ears, let them hear. In the book of Romans, if it's possible, live at peace with everyone. Peace I leave with you, and my peace I give you. And that's from John. And if you think during the Mass, peace be to you, and peace be unto you. And peace is inner harmony. It is quietude. And only when we have that inner peace, that's why I think maybe my colleagues connected this. When we have inner peace, then we can listen. We're not going to be so fast to can't wait to say something. Is it anti-Semitism to create? I'm not thrilled. Many of you who have listened to me over time know I'm not thrilled with the choices the Israeli government is making. I'm not thrilled with the choices that Russia is making in invading a sovereign country. I'm not thrilled with the countries in Africa who are raping and murdering citizens of other countries. So there's a lot of places that one can look and say, not happy with the politics, not happy with what's going on. And we're just watching bad decisions over time, and then individuals seeking more power and control, whether it's in Israel, whether it's in Russia, or some of our groups here in the United States. All right. Now our third Abrahamic religion, Islam, the Quran. And if you disagree over anything, refer it to Allah and the Messenger. If you should believe in Allah and the last day, that is the best way and the best result. This encourages seeking guidance and resolving disputes peacefully. Resolving disputes peacefully. Again from the Quran, and those who have responded to their Lord in established prayer, and whose affairs are conducted by consultation among themselves, this highlights the importance of consultation. So, our third Abrahamic religion, saying the same thing. If we're going to get anywhere, even if we disagree, this isn't about agreeing. This isn't about all of us doing the same thing. No. However, how can we reach any conclusion if we don't listen to each other? If you think you're right and I'm wrong, then we're not going to go anywhere. If I think I'm right and you're stupid, we're not going to go anywhere. The Quran condemns mockery. It condemns gossip. It emphasizes the need to treat others fairly. Now, someone just popped up, co-host. Yes, Ghulam Jilni Khan. Send me an email, rabbiblock@hotmail.com, and we'll plot out how we're going to do this, and we'll co-host next week. Definitely, I'm looking for your email, so we'll co-host next week. Spread peace among you in the Hadith. Again, we're not talking about all doing the same thing. We're not all talking about agreeing, because we're going to disagree with solutions. However, the only way to arrive at a solution is listening and paying attention. What are your thoughts on Saudi Arabia? Just as an aside, the Saudis were ready to recognize the state of Israel. And I think that was one of the motivations behind Iran supplying Hamas and doing the kidnapping. They wanted to make sure, they wanted to slow down or stop the momentum that was going, that Saudi Arabia would recognize Israel. And I'm not sure, someone just asked me, why do evangelicals support Israel? That's a topic for a 30-minute discussion in and of itself. Because of theology, because of prophecies, there are a number of things involved. However, let's keep in mind, I think a lot of the prophecies and what we're talking about are when the Messiah comes, or the Messiah returns, when the end of days is established. We're not talking about politics and a political country. And I think those two seem to be getting mixed up all the time. And as you know, I like to separate them out. Now, the Hindu texts have debate and conflict. But the Talmud is just debate. It's not Jewish law. The Talmud gives us the majority opinion and the minority opinion. And then the arguments both sides have. The whole Talmud is based on debate. So the Hindu texts are very much in keeping with let's put everything out there and let's discuss this. And the Hindu texts emphasize in the Dharma righteous conduct, respectful interaction, not mockery, not making fun, not calling people names, not giving people nicknames to put them down. That's not respectful listening. That's not going to get us to lead to a conclusion. If I start off by giving you a nickname that's derogatory, what have I said about your opinion? What have I said about you? Or if you do the same thing to me. It's the pursuit of inner and outer peace. That's respectful interaction. Thoughts and words encouraging peace and peaceful communication. And we're talking about Hinduism. Listen carefully, O dear one. Upanishads. Just like the Shema, listen carefully. Shema, listen carefully. And then from the Gita, learn by approaching the wise. Inquire and listen humbly. Here we go again. Again, another Hindu teaching. Respectful listening to elders. I'm going to be 79. That makes me an elder. And teachers, it's a sacred duty. It doesn't, so far, no one is saying you agree with everyone, you do whatever they say. So far, no one has said that. Because we will reach an acceptable, peaceful conclusion. Yeah, I do believe in a two-state solution where both states recognize the right of the other state to exist, and one state doesn't become a platform for sending missiles and destroying the other state. And that's my take. Someone just asked me about two-state solution, and I've said that before. A sacred duty to listen. Peace is considered greater than a military victory. Okay, Hinduism, our three Abrahamic faiths, now Buddhism, and the Eightfold Path, right understanding and right thought. They both require careful consideration of different perspectives and cultivating thoughts, peace, goodwill, and again, the topic continues through all the faiths. And I've said this before, I limited myself to the three Abrahamic faiths and Buddhism and Hinduism because of the myriad religions out there. This would become unworkable. However, I would venture that if we began to explore the Aborigine, the native tribes of Australia, the native tribes, the first Americans here in the United States, we would find that same idea of sitting, discussing. There were still wars. There was still fighting. However, it would be there'd be less killing, less fighting, and in terms of policy, in terms of laws and regulations, if we would have meaningful conversation. And that also is bringing in facts and not just all of a sudden saying, well, that's all made up or that's fake news. Doesn't work. Get rid of that fake news. Let's explore the statement and see if it's true or not. However, by starting off by accusing anyone of using fake news, you've just eliminated respectful listening. You've put the other person down. Mindfulness is awareness of others, not just of the self. Often in Buddhism, when we talk about mindfulness, we get caught up and then we end up in an ego trip. That's not Buddhism. The goal isn't. It's just the opposite. To let go of the ego, to let go of the self. And we can only have mindfulness when we're aware of others around us. Deep listening will relieve suffering. So what is deep listening? And you'll notice we have different adjectives to try to emphasize respectful or meaningful listening. Hatred is never appeased by hatred, only by non-hatred. Radiating goodwill towards all beings leads to peace. Digital boot, oh really? But I was told, no, I'm not sure what you're telling me about what Judaism says. I refer you to my YouTube channel, The Rabbi and I, and there are several episodes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm not even sure how many years ago, called Jewish Buddhism, or Being a Jew Boo. And that will help answer the question that someone just brought up about Judaism and Buddhism. How do we force Americans to leave Jewish people alone? I think what we're watching, the anti-Semitism attacking, the starting point for the churches to come out against attacking other religions, about saying that some people are going to hell if they don't accept their beliefs. And remember, it's not about just accepting Jesus as the Christ. Many of our fundamentalist evangelicals are telling us you have to accept their understanding, not how you understand. And that would go a long way towards getting rid of anti-Catholic, anti-Jewish, anti-Islam, get rid of a lot of the antis. You know, your religion is fine. There's nothing wrong with my religion. So let's look at each other and say, there are as many ways to understand the one as there are blades of grass on the fairway. You don't have to follow my way. I don't have to require you to follow my way. I don't have to follow your way. We have the same goal. How do we attain peace? Respectful listening. And this would go a long way towards stopping anti-Semitism, is having conversations. Rather than just spouting things, let's put it on the table. Where did it come from? Tell me why you believe this. I want to understand, not to contradict it, not to argue. I want to be able to understand where this anti-Semitism is coming from, where your practices and beliefs reflect what you claim to be. To be Christian means to live Jesus. Where did Jesus teach hate? Where did Jesus teach waste your enemy? Didn't he say turn the other cheek? Didn't he say do unto others? Didn't Jesus teach someone asks for your shirt, you give them your shirt and your cloak? Didn't Jesus say we're to take care of the widow, the orphan, and the veteran? Am I mistaking something with the Sermon on the Mount? Maybe that wasn't Jesus talking? So if we're starting from Judaism isn't exclusionary. One can convert into Judaism. Nothing special about it. It's a religion. And our topic, the only way we're going to get anywhere is to present the passage, to say something, and to take a look at where our sacred literature, who wrote it, where it came from, what it means to you, how you arrived at your position. I won't know anything unless you tell me. And that's step 4, is respectful discussion. No, someone asked about obeying the laws of Deuteronomy. No. The biblical laws had a time and a place, and many of them were social. Remember, I started the series of the 613 Commandments. And many of them can't be done because they require the temple to have been built. They were in a different time and place. We don't want to take a look at and lockstep into the Deuteronomic Code. We have to look at them, read them, see how they apply, see how they'll take me to God. Because that is the goal, to unite with the One. The goal is not to bow this way or bow that way, or to eat this food but not eat that. Rituals are reminders so we stay on the path. And someone else, again, just wanted to be a guest. Please, rabbiblock@hotmail.com. We'll co-host next week. I look forward to hearing from you. All right, let's see what questions we have for our last. I've exhausted my, I think I gave all the quotes. And there's a saying in Russian, no horse is so dead that you can't keep beating it. Based on that, I certainly could start again about respectful listening. And I'd like to thank many of you, because I believe that the majority of you are respectfully listening to learn something. And that the few people that flit in and out, or the people that come in and out, or ask questions that can't be answered in a short time or require some background, that's few and far between. So I want to thank you who are listening and those who are watching, because I really believe you come and you are doing respectful listening. Oh boy, and now for something completely different, and now a word from our sponsor. Many of your questions can be answered in my book, How to Be Jewish in 30 Seconds. Available Barnes & Noble, Amazon, or from your local bookseller. The price of the book is worth, the cartoons alone are worth the price of the book. Truly. So I want you to consider picking up a copy. This is one of my favorite cartoons because it's my lighting. Here we go. This is one of my favorite cartoons because Joe drew yours truly on the couch with Dr. Freud, and I like that one. Oh, Rabbi Schneerson, not the Messiah. The criteria in Judaism, the word Messiah means messenger. And the messenger will announce God's kingdom on earth will be established immediately, in a nanosecond. Not in 1,000 years, not in 100 years. The Jewish belief is the Messiah, God's going to send a messenger to say, I'm coming now. And so Schneerson didn't fulfill the requirement. Jesus didn't fulfill. That's why Christianity has the second coming. Recognizing that heaven did not appear on earth yet. And so Christianity teaches Jesus will return to announce the coming of the Messiah. Judaism says we don't know who the Messiah is, but we'll know because the Messiah will announce God's kingdom will be established on earth. There'll be peace. We'll all join together. We'll sing Kumbaya. We'll eat s'mores, and it'll be wonderful. However, hasn't happened yet, and Schneerson didn't make any announcements, didn't do. You have to get up and go to work in the morning. I'm retired, so I'm going to do some volunteer work. And someone else just said about the conflict in the Middle East for the last 30 seconds. Not good. It's a result of lots of history, lots of bad decisions. And so, Gulam, I'm looking forward to sending me an email so we'll co-host next week. And the topic could be what's going on in the Middle East. It can be the history of Israel, of Palestine. We'll talk about it, and that's why we need to meet to discuss it. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for participating. And for those who are listening, thank you for listening. Lila Tov.